This is the 10-Minute Teacher Podcast with your host, Vicki Davis.
Thank you, Solution Tree, for sponsoring today's episode. For 25 years, Solution Tree has brought results-driven professional development to schools around the country based on work from leaders in education. Learn more at solutiontree.com/10-minute teacher. Today, we're talking to my friend Frank Buck. Now, if you want an expert in productivity, particularly for administrators, but really all educators, Frank Buck is the man. He has written some really helpful productivity books, and every time I share one of his books with my principal, they always come back and thank me because you are just so practical and helpful. Thanks for coming on the show.
It's a pleasure.
So today we're going to talk about Evernote. Now, a couple weeks back on the podcast, I did a show about how to select your digital note-taking tool. I will reference that in the show notes. But as I was doing that, Frank, I came across your YouTube channel and I'm like, I've known Frank forever. And I didn't know that he had this awesome resource. And one of your videos that you had shot was about all the free tools in Evernote. For those who don't know anything about Evernote or thought that it was going down the tubes like people thought for a while, could you explain where Evernote is today and what they've done with their free plan?
Absolutely. It's really been a roller coaster ride. In 2008, 2009, it was the darling. When everybody was getting their iPhone and, wow, I can keep my information on this. Evernote was the perfect place. And really, it still is the perfect place. We're good at keeping files inside folders and finding documents, but our real challenge today is the information inside all of that. So Evernote, probably its downfall, if there was such a robust free plan. It was like, why should you pay for a plan when there's so much in the free one? So they were having some financial difficulties and were bought out a year ago by an Italian company called Bending Spoons. And that has really turned the corner. First of all, you know how in Google Docs, two people can be in the same document at the same time and edit at the same time? For the first time ever, you can do the same thing in Evernote. So I could be working on a note on my screen, pull up my phone, pull up that same note and say, take a photo or something like that. So it'd been great.
In that case, you're collaborating with yourself, but you can actually collaborate with others as well.
Yeah, you can collaborate with others. And for the people that say, well, I don't have a team, I just use it by myself, that's no good. It's like, well, wait a minute. Most of the collaboration I do is actually with myself.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I type some things and then let me speak some things. Well, let me pull it up on my phone, open that note and just talk into that note. So Evernote raised the price on the paid plan. And then in early December, they did something that just made the tech world go, what are they doing? They took the free plan and they said, you can only have 50 notes. So really what they've done is they've made it a trial, but instead of saying it's a 14-day trial, they've said it's as long as you want trial, but you can only have 50 notes. And some people had said, well, I don't want to pay for anything. I guess I'm going to have to go somewhere else. And I actually had to do some thinking myself. And I actually did write a PDF, a little ebook on how to do the same kinds of things as close as you can in Google Drive for the people that wanted to go that way. But then some things started to turn the corner. As people were looking for other ways to go other than Evernote, it was, well, what about the web clipper? Because the web clipper is so great. And for those who are totally unfamiliar with what I'm talking about, let's say we're on Amazon. You know, we all order from Amazon, and then you get that final screen that tells what you ordered and how much it is, and here's the confirmation number, and here's when it's going to come. And you go, I'd like to capture that. I'd like to print that out. And then you got more paper to deal with. Click on the Evernote web clipper, click save, and you've got it in Evernote. When the stuff comes, you just get rid of the note. And there's one of your 50 notes that you just reclaim. And then this little thing sort of came out that, you know, clipping a note doesn't count against your 50. So you could actually go over 50 if you were doing some web clipping. And then all of a sudden, out of the blue, Evernote said, we're going to take 14 elements of our paid plan and we're going to put it in the free plan because we want you to be able to test drive the best thing we've got. Now, you can only have 50 notes. So hopefully you're going to upgrade to a paid plan. But we're going to give you the whole 9 yards. And one of the things they gave us was the ability to forward an email into Evernote. You just have a little special email address, just forward it in there. That hadn't been in the free plan since 2016. And here's another loophole. If you forward something to Evernote, it doesn't count against one of your 50 notes. So someone could just enter things into Evernote by emailing straight into Evernote.
There's plugins everywhere for Evernote because it's been around for so long and it's just so stable and you can just search so well. It's literally my second brain.
That term was being used by Evernote 2008, 2009. It is sort of your second brain, and now it's sort of been kicked around the tech world a great deal. My recommendation to people now is go ahead, get the free Evernote account. Back in the days of the paper planner, and we kept reference information in the back of that planner that we wanted to have from everywhere. Well, if you had 50 pages of reference information in the back of your planner, your planner was getting kind of heavy. 50 notes of things that you need on a regular basis is no small thing in itself. We all have money and we spend money on the things that make our life better, and having your information available from anywhere, shareable from anywhere, easy to add to it, easy to find the information, that's one of the things that you'd want to have.
You don't work for Evernote, but let's talk about some of those other tips, like the bookcase, where you snap a picture of your bookcases, of all the books on your bookcase. You throw it in an Evernote, and the text search, which is now available free, you type in the name of the book, and then you know exactly where it is on your bookcase.
So you can take a picture of something, and then Evernote will search for any text. So like titles on a bookcase, or you're in the grocery store, and here's a recipe on the side of the soup can. You can snap a picture of that recipe, and it search for anything that you want in it. So that's just one of those neat things. And, that's part of the free plan.
Yeah. So what are some of the other features that they moved from the pro plan down to the free plan that people should try out if they're looking at it as a notebook service for them?
I did a YouTube video on this. One is custom templates. There's a built-in gallery that you can choose from, but now you can also create your own and save them. Things like a meeting notes template, for example, or a recipe template. Another is offline notes. We generally think that we have internet access from everywhere, but sometimes you don't. You're in that foreign country, you're on the airplane. So you can designate certain notes or certain notebooks to actually download to your phone so that you have that information from everywhere. And then for those who use Excel, one of the things you can do is drag a template or drag an Excel file or a Word document or PowerPoint. You can just drag those into a note. But without even opening that Excel spreadsheet, you can just preview it. You can scroll through it. And then if you need to make changes, then you can open it. So of the 14, those are just 3 of my favorites.
So every time I've taken students overseas, I have always had an offline notebook in Evernote because literally every single piece of paper, which I used to carry all the paper and it was just so thick and heavy. Now, the Guardian type things, I'd have to have the paper copy of that too. But I would also have it in Evernote because, something horrible happened and my phone and my computer went away. I could still get on another device and access my Evernote and pull all that documentation down. So it's just such a protection for you. So as we finish up, Frank, let's talk about what are some great ways that administrators can use Evernote to make their lives easier.
If you don't have a particular form you have to use, then you go in a classroom for an observation, just create a note in Evernote. You can have it on your phone. You can have it on your laptop. And say you're in the 7th grade girls choir and things are just going great. And you think, I'd love to have a recording of that. You can just actually hit a little button and it's going to record it for you. So you can have what's going on as far as notes that you're typing, things that you're hearing, and then you could also take a picture of something that's happening in the classroom and it all saves to the same note available from anywhere. You could email that note then to the teacher. You're just walking down the hall and you want to just take a sentence or two about classrooms that you pop in. Create a note for that day and just make some notes about what you're seeing as you exit each one of those classrooms. Phone calls, meetings with parents. We're pretty much responsible for anything that's said there. Where do you keep those notes? How do you go back and find them later? The search features are incredible on Evernote. So for me, it's the place that if it's information that doesn't have to be on an 8.5 by 11 piece of paper with 1-inch margins all the way around, then for me, it's something that goes in Evernote.
Every time I try to break up with Evernote, whether I'm going to Notion or LogSeq or any of these other tools,
it just works.
You can find it when you need it. Like yesterday at church, needed to reprint a name tag. I open up Evernote, I search reprint name tag. It's there. And that training was 2 years ago. Well, Frank Buck, a productivity expert, check out his YouTube channel. I will have it in the show notes as well as a blog post about this. And I hope you'll check out Evernote. Have you ever sat through a professional development session and thought, how is this supposed to help me in my classroom? Most PD efforts are one size fits all. We as educators know that every student and every school has unique needs. That's why Solution Tree work with schools to implement data-driven, research-backed solutions to help teachers apply them to their daily instruction and assessment. So when Solution Tree associates come to your school, they take the time to get a deep understanding of your school's culture and your specific school challenges to build a custom plan. Visit their website to learn more at solutiontree.com/10-minute teacher. And there you'll find success stories at schools like yours. Thanks, Solution Tree, for sponsoring today's episode. Thanks for tuning in to the 10-Minute Teacher Podcast. Watch the video version of this podcast and catch my new radio and TV show, Cool Cat Teacher Talk, on YouTube and a radio or TV station near you. Join my Cool Cat Teacher Classroom Matters newsletter at coolcatteacher.com/newsletter. Leave a review if you found this helpful. See you later, educator.